Alexa, volume 3.
Rewrite history, night is far, can't undo. It always starts out simple like a conversation. Before I know it, I'm lost in your illumination. If you catch my eye across the crowded road, I'll fall into the atmosphere surrounding you. If you pull me close, just to disappear, chances are I'll wait for you 1,000 years. If you like
Alexa, volume 2. Hey guys, I'm still trying to figure out this YouTube kind of live feature so I can kind of walk you through exactly what we're seeing. Please feel welcome to give me any feedback in terms of, can you see my screen? Can you see my mouse? Can you hear me okay? Live feature so I can kind of walk you through exactly what we're seeing. Please feel welcome to give. Let me mute that listing. So what we're looking at right now is Gbpcad on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. And here's what we've got. First off, I'll show you on another chart that this is forming a head and shoulders. As you guys can see, we have our daily dots. We have an 8 and 18 crossover. We broke below the 50 and we broke with momentum. So this is a powerful candle. We also broke a previous low. So we broke several lows. Our ADX is clearly saying sell, our momentum is going up. We have a crossover on our MACD and we're crossing over the 0 line. We also have our profit filter extreme saying sell, and our currency strength indicator is lining up. Now, granted, I'm expecting this to pull back. And you guys remember that a pullback with GBP could be hundreds of pips. So be mindful of that. I mean, if you wanted to wait to get in, for example, till half of this candle, so you could do a pending order 20 pips up or just kind of keep an eye on it, you're more than welcome to. You guys also know my trading style is more to trust my analysis and not babysit the chart. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to click through our different ways to view this market. Again, this is our triple arrow system set up. We have mostly selling power on our GG trend bar, daily dots and 4-hour dots. We are getting ready to test this low. And so we can choose to wait until we break this low, or we can choose to wait for a pullback. Either way, that choice is yours. We're expecting this to move a couple hundred pips. So again, just taking a look at some of the oscillators, we have enough on the checklist to say this is a go. So different chart, different setup, similar concept. 4-hour chart, daily dots, 8 and 18. We have our little arrow, which you guys know I adore. And of course, our momentum is going up, which is exactly what we want to see. We're breaking below the 0. We have our little apex peak if you're using this. And even our TDI, we had our pop out. We're now officially below the yellow line, which means we're in seller's territory if you're using TDI. So I'll continue. That's your TK crossover on the 4-hour, which is very powerful, as you guys know. Doesn't mean that this can't pull back and play around with us, but just looking at enough confirmation. So if you guys want to know how I find trades, this is how. This kind of gives you a much clearer picture for those who have never seen it of a head and shoulder. So think of this as your left shoulder, this as your head, and this as your right shoulder. Provided we break this neckline, and I'll use my cursor to kind of show you what I'm looking at. This neckline, we have a valid sell. So there's that as well. What else I'm seeing, how do I do this? I'm just going to drag this other MT4 into this spot so we can kind of hopefully see enough of it. So taking a look at a kind of a different chart, if you will. Again, very simple concept. This is the 4-hour chart. This is Gbpcad that we're looking at. This shows a perfect head and shoulders. This is Heiken Ashi candles. But the cool thing about this chart setup is it shows you kind of where your previous support and resistance is going to be. It's not 1,000%, just like any indicator. Indicators make our life easier, but they're not necessarily, the most accurate. Your most accurate thing is still going to be to analyze charts independently. So, but needless to say, you have a beautiful head and shoulders pattern forming. We broke below the 50, And this is the last line of defense. As you guys notice, there's not a lot of room, but there's not a lot to stop us in between where price is currently at and then the next actual support. That's 380 pips. So what I'm going to say is let's have 150 pip take profit, and you'll use 150 pip lot size on your chart. So when you go to pick a lot size, all you have to do is go into the third category where it says 50 pips now, type in 150 right there, and you'll get a chance to kind of see what your lot size can be based off of your account balance. Remember only to use the row that is either equal to, okay, or less than, but never greater than. So if your account is $150, you need to be using something that's $150 or less in that column all the way across. Type in the take profit of 150 pips and go from there. That spreadsheet is based off of your growth, not your risk, just so you guys are all on the same page. So this will be the next call this week. We've discussed many calls on our live call. We've had a couple of signals actually sent out, but we don't really need that many. All we need is a handful a week. So for example, if we ended up getting 300 out of this, or let's say 500 because we got back in on pullbacks and we just kind of held it and let it ride out. I mean, that's all you need. You're talking thousands of pips already, and today's Wednesday. That's kind of what's possible when you wait for the best setup and you just, everyone wants to catch this move and this move and this move, and you can do it successfully, but I don't like to do it that way. So anyways, this is my analysis. It kind of goes over each and every one of the different charts and the setups that we're kind of looking at. If you have any questions, post them in the six-figure discussion group. And I hope to get better at this whole like live video analysis thing in time. I don't know why Zoom kind of does that with my window, but it does. So again, big arrow, and then everything is super lining up. If we go to one of our currency strength indicators, we're expecting a nice pullback. And again, it could pull back pretty hard. So we don't have any control over that, but we definitely are pretty confident of it falling. So your choice if you want to wait for the pullback, your choice if you want to wait for the break of the average daily low, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But all of our confirmations are saying that this is a good, healthy sell. So I'll go back to my triple arrow system. One more time, ADR low is here. I'll use my crosshair to show you. Provided we break that, which I'm assuming we're going to do with momentum. That is a whole number according to the quarters theory nonsense. So it may or may not stall out here for a little while. But either way, we're wanting it to break here. We did make lower lows. We're below the 50. If you want to wait to the retest of this bearish engulfing candle, you can. If you're okay with the pullback and you have other things to do with your day, you can go on with your day and take the trade, have a very large stop loss. Okay, 1-to-1 is probably what you're going to end up with in terms of this trade because it's a GBP pair. So I hope you guys have a happy, fantastic day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Can you hear me right now? How do I make it stop then? Great. Thank you.